Ramchandra Bhagavan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Upijana Vallabha Giri Varadari Upijana Vallabha Giri Varadari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna. Jai Vishwapad Paramahamsa Parivajaka Jai Ashtadhara Shadashishavaras Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Granthiraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories of the assembled devotees, all glories of the assembled devotees, all glories of the assembled devotees, all glories of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Sorry, I wrote the wrong verse.
Which one did you write?
Well, I opened to the right page, but then I wrote yesterday's verse on accident.
You wrote she wrote 20.
I opened it to this, but then I ended up writing that one. So. Your device is by device.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sixth Canto, Prescribed Duties for Mankind, Chapter 9, Appearance of the Demon Vidrasura, Text 23. Please repeat after me. Yes, Yoru Shinge Jagatim Sanavam Manur Yatabadya Tatara Durgam Sa Eva Nas Twasra Bayad Durantat Tratashitan Varicharo Pinunam Which one is it? Yasyo Rushinge Jagatim Sanavam Mano Yatha Badyatatara Durgam Sevanastvashtar Bayadurantat Trata Shitan Varicharo Pinunam Yasyo Rushinge Jagatim Swanavam Mano Yatha Badyatatara Durgam Sevanastvashta Bayadarantat Trata Shitan Varicharo Pinunam Yasyo Rushinge Jagatim Swanavam Mano Yatha Badyatatara Durgam Sevanastvashta Bayadarantat Trata Shitan Varicharo Pinunam Yasya, of whom? Uru, very strong and high. Shinge, on the horn. Jagatim, in the form of the world. Sunavam, his own boat. Manahu, Manu, King Satyavrata. Hita, just as. Abadya, binding. Tatara, crossed. Durgam, the very difficult to cross. Inundation. Saha, he, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Eva, certainly. Naha, us. Tvashtra Bayat, from fear of the son of Tushta. Durantat, endless. Trata, deliverer. Ashitan, dependence, like us. Varichara api, although taking the form of a fish. Nunam, indeed. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, HG Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Manu named King Satyavrata formerly saved himself by tying the small boat of the entire world to the horn of the Matsya Avatar, the fish incarnation. By the grace of the Matsya Avatar, Manu saved himself from the great danger of the flood. May that same fish incarnation save us from the great and fearful danger caused by the son of Tushta. 24. In the beginning of creation, a tremendous wind caused fierce waves of inundating water. The great waves made such a horrible sound that Lord Brahma almost fell from his seat on the lotus into the water of devastation, but he was saved with the help of the Lord. Thus we also expect the Lord to protect us from this dangerous condition. Yasyapi pura samihata pasyamalingam pratak ishamanina. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who created us by his external potency and by whose mercy we expand the creation of the universe, is always situated before us as a supersoul, but we cannot see his form. We are unable to see him because all of us think that we are separate and independent gods. Purport. Here is an explanation of why the conditioned soul cannot see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Even though the Lord appears before us as Lord Krishna or Lord Ramchandra and lives in human society as a leader or king, the conditioned soul cannot understand him. Avajananti ma mudha manishim tanamashatam. Rascals, mudhas, deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking him an ordinary human being. However insignificant we are, we think that we are also God, that we can create a universe, or that we can create another God. This is why we cannot see or understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this regard, Srila Madhva Acharya says, Lingam eva pashyama kadachit vimanastu devanam apisan eva praya kaleshu nashdeva taratam yena sopi tu. We are all conditioned to various degrees, but we think that we are God. This is why we cannot understand who God is or see him face to face. Omegana dividendasya kananjana shalakaya chakshulana valithamaya tasmai shri gurave namaha mukam garivachalam bangam nangayate girim yakipatamaham vande shri gurun diditadanam vancha kapidabishta kripasindabhevacha patitanam pavanibhya Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sometimes devotees, they, on book distribution or in other places, they run into people who will just, some of them say, my teacher is God, or some of them will say, I am God. But still, I mean, it was happening in the past, and it's happening now. Devotees still run into people who say these things. For example, in the early days of ISKCON, Giraj Das Brahmachari was out distributing books at a concert, big concert, a lot of people were there, and there was, so he approached one young man, and then he was trying to give him one of Srila Prabhupada's books, and then the man went to say that, I'm into spirituality and this and that, and I'm practicing some type of meditation. And then he said, my teacher is actually God. And then Giraj Das Brahmachari said, well, why do you accept that he's God? And then the man said, well, because he said he is. And then Giraj Das Brahmachari said, well, if I told you I was the President of the United States, would you believe me? And the man said, yes. He was obviously hard-pressed, a little stubborn, or whatever he was thinking, who knows. But the man said, yes, I would believe. So then he said, well, if I'm the President of the United States, that means you have to do what I say, right? The man said, yes. So then he said, okay, well, you could take out your wallet. The guy took out his wallet, and he said, you could give me everything in your wallet, all the cash in your wallet. So the guy did it. The Guy gave him all the money. And then, with that time, I don't know, something like maybe $200, something like that, which back then was, a lot more than it is now. People used to pay their rent, go grocery shopping, fill up their gas in their car, all for $200 one time. So it's quite a lot. So, excuse me. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so it's quite a lot at that time. So Giraj Das, he gave this man a book, and he gave him an invitation to the temple, and then he just disappeared into the crowd, right? So then later, the man came up to him and said, "Oh, actually, I need some of that money back. I need to pay some rent. Can you please give me the money back?" So Prabhupada heard about this, and Prabhupada actually liked it. He heard about this in Los Angeles, and Prabhupada was laughing and said, "Oh, our Giraj, he went out, and some man was saying, 'I'm God, everybody's God,' and he said, 'Okay, then you can give me your money.'" So yeah, this devotees have you could say had similar experiences, even in the present time. Anyways, I'll just tell it because it was Lakshman, hearing this story that I just told, he tried it out one time here at the Krishna Lounge. Some guy, huh? You don't know who Lakshman is? Bhakti Larry. Yeah, he's in Honolulu. Oh, really? He's already done with Honolulu? Really? How long was he there in Honolulu? Not very long. I guess he didn't last, or I don't know. It's hard to last in Honolulu sometimes. So Lakshman, he heard this story that I just told, and he tried it out one time here at the Krishna Lounge. There was one guy, he was a flaming Mayavadi, very intense Mayavadi. Means impersonalist, person thinking he's God. So he had this very fancy necklace, some type of stone or something. Those could be quite expensive, actually, these stones people buy. So a very expensive necklace. So the man was talking with Lakshman and saying, yeah, I'm God. And Lakshman said, "Oh, okay, all right. If I'm you and you are me and we're all one, then can you just give me your necklace, please?" And the man did it. The man gave him his necklace. Yeah. So Lakshman said, "Thank you very much." He got a fancy necklace. But then the man came back a week later, to the Krishna and said, "Hey, can you give me your necklace back? My necklace back?" He was asking for his necklace back.
Only if you admit you're not God.
Yeah, only if you admit you're not God. And people, they don't just say they're God like in a generic sense. They may say they're Krishna, right? We have this in Krishna Leela. Who's cooking breakfast this morning? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Silence. Okay, does that mean no one's cooking? Who? I just heard somebody yell in the kitchen. Who was that? I think he yelled nobody. Nobody does. Okay.
I'm over there, we'll take care of it.
So people don't even claim just to be God, like generic, in a generic sense. They claim to be Krishna, for example, like in the Krishna book, you have Pandraka. He had a whole makeshift extra 2 arms somehow or other. I'm not sure how he did that. And he was dressed up as Krishna. Anyways, who knows how he did that, but. And nowadays people also, they claim to be Shiva. They claim to be, some even claim to be Hanuman. Like we have this guy, anyways, he's going to the Krishna Lounge there in Chula Vista. Somehow or other he's claiming to be Hanuman. He'll just kind of huh? No, he doesn't have a tail. He'll directly say that, yes, I'm Hanuman. Right? So, but the thing is, Hanuman, it's not so easy, right? I mean, actually, it's not possible. Not that it's not easy, it's not possible. It's not possible to be Hanuman, and he works at the swap meet, like selling whatever he sells, I don't know, crystals, so we say, oh, Hanuman's there at the swap meet selling crystals, trying to pay his rent, you know. Hanuman doesn't have to do that. Hanuman could pick up a whole mountain of crystals, right? So, but yeah, like a question for the younger devotees here is that if someone was to come up to you on the street and say, we're all God, I'm God, you're God, then what would we say to them? What are some reasons, practical reasons or logical reasons or shastric reasons, how we could explain to them they're not God? Does anybody have any idea? Yeah? We're not all powerful? Okay.
God has to be omniscient. The Prabhu actually uses, can you tell me what I'm thinking?
Yeah. What do you think, Soul? If someone was going to come up to you and say, yes, I'm God, you're God, we're all God, so how would you, or what would you say to them? Yes.
I would have to ask them to prove it.
That takes a lot to prove it. You would say prove it.
Yeah, prove it.
Yeah.
You have to put degree on literally the definition of God.
Yes.
The standard is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient.
Yes.
Well, I would say...
Yes.
May I?
Yes.
If a person comes to me to say, oh, I am God, you are God, everyone is God, everything is God, then I would agree with this person, because one of the definitions of God is it that God is everything and everything is God. So I could not be there escaping from being in agreement with this person. When this person says, you are God, I am God, everything is God and everyone is God. Because one of the scientific definitions which define God is that God is everything and everything is God.
Well, I mean, like, absolutely God, like the supreme personality of Godhead, like God absolute. I don't think you would agree with that, Vijay Krishna.
I would. But then, depending on how the relationship with this person would develop, then let's go for deepening the subject.
Hare Krishna. Well, we have Prabhupada's purports in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that Arjuna asked Krishna to show his universal form, not because he wanted to see it, but because in the future, if anyone claims to be God, you can ask him to show the universal form. And if they can't show it, then you punch him in the nose.
You punch him in the nose, huh? That's funny. Well, Prabhupada said, okay, well, if you're saying you're God, right? And you're saying I'm God. So Prabhupada said, okay, you're God, I'm God. He said, okay, I'll be the kicking God. So anyways, now one thing is, okay, the definition. Okay, we have to go off the definition. By definition, that says the three O's, right? Omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent, right? So, omniscient, all-knowing. So, Saul, you could say, okay, do you know everything? The guy would say, yes. All right. Check one. Are you omnipresent? Are you everywhere? The guy will say, yes. Okay, check two. Are you all-powerful? The guy will say, yes. Check three. Okay, you're God. Then you offer obeisances. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I mean, out of madness, someone may claim those things. Say, yes, I'm all-powerful. I'm all the guys selling junk at the swap meet to pay his rent. He's all-powerful, right? I'm all-powerful. I'm all-knowing. And I'm present everywhere. So people out of madness may agree with these things, but we should know that such people are just, crazy. It's insane to claim that. So you could say, okay, what's the definition? And then the three O's, right? All-knowing, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, all-knowing, all-powerful, present everywhere, right? But an intelligent person or a logical person will say, oh yeah, that's true. I'm not those things. So how can I be God? Or how can we all be God? Also in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridim sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantam richati, that Krishna is the supreme friend, the supreme proprietor, and the enjoyer. And those who know this, right, it's a peace formula. So people may claim to be these things, but it's just not logical. It doesn't make any sense. Or just the idea of Krishna engaging in pastimes, right? Krishna Leela. Leela means pastimes. Leela means pleasurable, pleasure pastimes, pleasurable activities. So someone may say, well, I'm engaging in Leela now. I'm working like a dog at the swap meet, selling junk to pay my rent. This is Leela. And I have to go, this Friday to get a $2,000 root canal process done. This is Leela, the dentist drilling on my teeth. This is Leela. And anyways, so many things. Now, but Leela means pleasure pastimes. It doesn't mean, there's not a tinge of suffering. No suffering at all. So if these people, they say, I'm God, they say, well, why are you suffering then? Oh, this is Leela. Okay, but it doesn't look like Leela. It looks like you're suffering. They say, oh, well, all right, I'm covered by Maya. Illusion has covered me. And I've just forgotten I'm God, and I've forgotten the Leela and everything, and I'm just like suffering here in this world. And okay, but Maya is Krishna's energy. Daivyesha gunamaya mamamaya dharatya, right? This divine energy of mine, Krishna says, consists of the three, difficult to overcome. But those who surrender into me, Krishna says, can cross beyond it. So he says, it's my energy. Not that Krishna is the boss, so it's not that his energy can control him. His material energy cannot control him. So we say that the material energy, it's not more powerful than Krishna. So how can it cover Krishna? Or how can it cover you who you're claiming to be God? So that also doesn't... So anyways, there's a lot of things that don't add up. Tirtha Maharaj and Kanai Balai, one time they're driving back from Los Angeles. They were doing something spiritual in Los Angeles. And they came back and they stopped at a rest stop, and they saw Tirtha Maharaj dressed as the brahmachari cloth, or Mahatattva Prabhu at the time, and this guy came up to, oh, nice to meet you, this and that, and the guy said, oh, I'm actually God. And then Mahatattva Prabhu and Kanai Balai said, oh, very nice to meet you. We've been wanting to meet you for so long. And then Kanai started to laugh. And then Tirtha Maharaj started to laugh. And then they just broke out into laughter for a very long time. I think the guy got upset and took off. But Kanai could sometimes go into that uncontrollable laughter, so that's what happened there. So one may not think that they're Krishna, absolute or God, but there may be a tendency to you could say, maybe a tendency to in a subconscious way or subtle way to try to be in that position more or less. Like, for example, that book that Yagatapa Savaloka Maheshwaram verse, it's proprietor. So we're not the proprietor of anything. We don't own anything. So, but there may be a tendency to want to own or to think we own things. Or we're not the enjoyers, supreme enjoyers, right? We're the part and parcel enjoyers, but we're not the supreme enjoyers. We're meant to take our enjoyment in connection with Krishna, but there may be a tendency to try and enjoy separately or want to be the supreme enjoyer. Or we're not the supreme friend, means we're not the saviors of mankind or messiahs walking around, right? It's not that we're going around having mercy on people, but there may be a tendency to do that, especially within religions. Philanthropic people have that problem, and also religious people sometimes have that problem. So maybe a tendency to do that. So we want to introduce people to Krishna, the supreme proprietor, friend, enjoyer, so they could attain peace from the pangs of material existence, and we want to be connected with that supreme friend Krishna. And in this way, we could actually see Krishna. We could see Krishna in everything. We could see Krishna everywhere. And not that he's there right before us and we can't see him. Like if one's in the mood of a proprietor, enjoyer, and supreme friend or whatever, or they're in some very materialistic mindset. If they go before the deity of Krishna, even I'm saying that, even practitioners of Bhakti Yoga, if they fall into these mental states, then they go before Krishna and they also can't see properly. Their eyes are blocked, from really taking darshan, seeing the deity. Krishna. Okay, so does anybody have any question or comment?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Thank you for your nice class. This is very interesting, Balaram Prabhu, the dissecting of these energies of Krishna and the philosophy of Achincha Beta Beta Tattva. As Vijay Krishna Prabhu said, yeah, the definition of God may be that he's everything, and therefore we're included in that definition. But Krishna himself makes distinctions. In the Bhagavad Gita, he talks about aparayamitasthanyam prakritim vidime param, that he makes the distinction. There's a higher energy. And Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho, then there's the living entities, which are separated. And we're not separated for the purpose of suffering. We're separated for the purpose of enjoying. We have a birthright that's exalted. So that was one point. The other one is, which is very interesting, the other one is when Srila Nityananda Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur would preach, they never told people, you're suffering, you're in ignorance. They would say, yes, yes. If they said something like philosophical, we're all God, yes, you're such an exalted scholar. You're so intelligent, therefore you can appreciate this chanting of Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Madai, I was just thinking about, because you mentioned Nityananda's preaching. Madai, or Nityananda Prabhu wanted to deliver Jagan Madai. So Madai is the one who threw a earthen pot at Nityananda Prabhu's head, wine pot actually, threw it at his head. And there was blood coming, and then devotees rushed, and they told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there and extremely angry, and he, chakra, yelling, or calling out chakra, so the Sudarshan chakra was there and was about to annihilate both of them. But Nityananda Prabhu said, well, this Jagai, he actually stopped Madai, so you should give him mercy. So then he gave him mercy, and he gave him love for Krishna. And then Madai was saying, well, I mean, we were performing sinful activities together. It says Chitragupta and all these scribes, it was just, there was so much sinful activity, they just couldn't keep up. They're just always writing it down, always writing, because it was so sinful. In the Manu Samhita, it says all of these different sinful activities one could do. They were breaking all of those. And although they weren't offending Vaishnavas, because they were always in the association of drunkards, so they didn't have an opportunity. So, but you saved him. But Jagai was saying, well, Madai was saying, we share these sinful activities, so you have to please show me mercy also. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, well, you threw an earthen pot at Nityananda Prabhu, so you have to fall down at his feet. So then he fell down at his feet, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Madai mercy also, and he became a pure devotee, lover of Krishna. So then afterwards, Jagai and Madai, they became pure devotees, and says that they would reside on the bank of the Ganga, chanting 200,000 names of Krishna every day. And but still, Madai was feeling terrible because of his sinful activities, and specifically because he threw an earthen pot of Nityananda Prabhu. He was saved, and more than saved, he had love for Krishna, but he was feeling terrible, and he said he was just crying day and night because of this offense to Nityananda Prabhu. So then it says one day Nityananda Prabhu was traveling, and then he saw Madai, and saw that Madai was feeling dejected and crying, and so then he fell at his feet and he said, please forgive me. He said, I'm being tormented day and night from this feeling bad because of hurting you. And then Nityananda Prabhu said, he said that, well, Madai, he said, what can I do? He said, I'm also feeling bad that feeling terrible that I offended so many people, knowingly and unknowingly, and I don't even know how many people I offended. So what am I supposed to do? Go and I don't even know how many people, because some of it was unknowingly. So I'd like to go apologize to every single person. Interesting idea. And then, so Nityananda Prabhu told Madai that, first of all, that your offense to me is absolved. You don't have to worry. And he embraced him. And he, took away all of his misery. And then he said, if you want to get forgiveness from all of these people, what you should do is you should build a gut, like a bathing gut, and you should just stand there. First of all, you should build it for all the residents of the town. When they come to bathe in the Ganga, they have a nice place to bathe. And then he said you should stand there and ask everyone for forgiveness. So the people were coming, and whoever came, he would fall at their feet and beg them for forgiveness. And all the residents were forgiving him. And so after all this, it says that Yamaraj, right, Lord of Death, he's taking care of everyone's sinful punishment, said that he heard about Jaga and Madai and how they were transformed and how they became pure lovers of Krishna. And it said that he just went into complete ecstasy. He just jumped off his chariot and he was dancing and chanting and thinking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, anyways, you're just mentioning Nityananda Prabhu and how he said, Prabhupada would quote Prabodhananda Saraswati, that you're an educated, cultured person. Just so I beg of you, Prabhupada would translate it differently sometimes. So I beg of you, just forget all that and chant Hare Krishna. But in other words, he would just encourage them positively. Okay, humbly, and then chant Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, okay, does anybody have any other... but there is a difference. It's beta, simultaneously oneness and difference. Yes.
Well, I was thinking of that, how it seems sometimes Srila Prabhupada would find something to extract that was true from some stupid thing a person would be saying and encourage them in that way. And then sometimes he would just discourage them. And sometimes he would kind of do a mixture. And the main example that came to my mind, it also is very relevant to basically what you were talking about. That little part in one of the chapters of Prabhupada Lilamrita, when it's discussing all the different people who would essentially join the ashram, live with Srila Prabhupada in that little place, and the different people he would tolerate. Some would, be living with him, staying in the ashram and smoking, and some would be staying there and, bringing their girlfriends by and whispering with them, and like all sorts of little, things that he had to deal with. And then there's one little portion I'll just read. Once a young hippie on an LSD trip found his way upstairs and sat opposite the Swami. And he said, "Right now I am higher than you are." He announced, "I am God." Prabhupada bowed his head slightly, his palms folded. "Please accept my obeisances," he said. Then he asked God to please leave.
Ask God what?
Then he asked God, God to please leave. So it was kind of funny. It was just, this hippie came and said, "I am God" to Prabhupada. He said, and he said, "Please accept my obeisances." And then he asked him to leave.
Yeah. The Leela and Rita, specifically the San Francisco, some real rough, really intense people he was dealing with there. But yeah, so there's different ways of dealing. Yeah.
And Prabhu, if I may.
Yes.
May I?
Yes.
Yes, the concept that God is God because he is not caused by anyone or anything. And on the contrary, he is the one who causes everything and everyone. This concept, in a sense, makes the distinction related to who is God and who is not God. I think in a sense it is the most important factor related to us trying to establish who is God and who is not God. God is the one who is not caused by anyone or anything, but he himself causes everyone and everything.
That's nice. Also, I mean, if the finger was to have an argument with, the leg or something, yes, we're all parts of the body. Very nice philosophical conclusion. But what is your function? If you don't perform your proper function, then you won't enjoy it. It won't be harmonious.
Yes. Yeah, the famous hand going on strike, right? Doesn't want to serve the stomach. I mean, Prabhupada mentions that in some purport, and he mentions it in the talks, some talks he gives. I guess there's some poetic license. It seems that devotees have taken it and kind of expanded on it in different ways. But I don't think Prabhupada really gets into it like as a whole story, like the hand. Like the hand says, like they're talking to each other or something. I don't think he does that, but I don't know. Maybe so. we could look into that. But I just remember reading recently somewhere, and where Prabhupada just mentions it, just kind of as like a philosophical point, but doesn't get into like a whole kind of like they're talking to each other, and there's like a whole story type of thing. Kind of like, what do you call that? What is that? What's the Vedic one? Animals talking with each other, and there's some morals. What is it? Yeah, Panchatantra, yeah. It's not like really like a Panchatantra type of story, how Prabhupada says it. But anyways, we could look into it more. But all right, any other last? All right. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.